Forbes published an article today, and I'm going to be very honest with you, I had to sit with it for a minute before filming this, not because it surprised me, but because everything in that article, every stat, every trend, every quote is something I have been saying to my clients, to my followers on this channel for years. And today it's on the front page of Forbes, so let's talk about it. My name is Tatiana Muntean. I'm the founder and CEO of Global Freedom Capital, and I specialize in one thing, helping high net worth individuals, entrepreneurs, and families build what I call their global freedom strategy through citizenship by investment, residency programs, and second passport planning. I grew up in Moldova, a country where freedom of movement wasn't a given, where your passport defined the ceiling of your life. So when I talk about the value of a second citizenship, I'm not talking theory, I'm talking from lived experience. And for years, when I told Americans they needed a Plan B passport, some of them looked at me like I was being dramatic. Nobody's looking at me like that anymore. So here's what Forbes reported today. The United States has now replaced China as the largest market in the world for people seeking secondary and tertiary citizenships. Let that land. The country that used to be the destination, the dream, is now the country people are leaving. 61% of Americans earning over $200,000 a year are actively considering relocating to another country within the next 5 years. And here's the part that I found the most telling. When researchers asked those respondents whether they were left-leaning or right-leaning, it was 50-50. This is not a political movement. This is a wealth preservation movement. And one more number for you. Inquiries from American nationals seeking alternative residence or citizenship surged 183% year over year in just the first quarter of 2025 alone. 183%. That is not a trend. That is a tidal wave. Now, I want to talk about why this is happening, because the numbers are one thing, but the mindset shift behind them is what really matters. For a long time, Americans operated with a very specific belief system. I have the best passport in the world. Why would I need another one? And look, I understand that. The US passport is powerful. I'm not here to argue otherwise. But here's the thing. The wealthiest, most sophisticated people in the world have never thought that way. Ultra high net worth individuals, the people managing $10 million, $50 million, $100 million in assets, have always understood that you don't concentrate risk. You don't put all your money in one stock, you don't keep all your assets in one country, and you don't stake your entire future and your family's future on one passport. Freedom of movement, optionality, security. That's what the second citizenship gives you. And Americans are finally waking up to that. Now let's talk about Europe, because if you've been thinking about a European residency or citizenship, I need you to pay close attention to this section. The window is closing. I'm not saying that to create urgency for the sake of it. I'm saying it because it is factually, demonstrably true. And Forbes confirmed it today. Spain shut down its golden visa program entirely. Gone. Greece, one of my favorite programs, one I recommend constantly, raised its minimum investment threshold dramatically. In the hottest markets, you're now looking at up to 800,000 euros. That's nearly $1 million to get into a Greek golden visa in Athens or Mykonos. Portugal just doubled its residency requirement before you can apply for citizenship. It went from 5 years to 10 years. And Malta, which had one of the most sought-after citizenship by investment programs in Europe, was essentially restructured after a major European court ruling. What does all of this mean? It means the easy era of European golden visas is over. The programs that remain are more expensive, more restrictive, and more competitive. And yet, the demand from Americans for European citizenship has never been higher. So if you have been waiting for the right time, waiting for more certainty, I need you to understand something. The right time was 2 years ago. The second best time is right now. Now, not everyone has 800,000 euros sitting around for a Greek golden visa, and that's okay because there is a faster, more accessible, and frankly underappreciated option. The Caribbean. Five sovereign nations in the Eastern Caribbean offer full citizenship by investment programs, real passports, real citizenships, not residency citizenship. The entry point? Roughly $250,000. The processing time? 4 to 6 months. Compare that to European programs that take years and cost 3 to 4 times as much, and suddenly the Caribbean looks very different. Caribbean citizenship is a strategic tool. It's not just a beach vacation passport. Used correctly, combined with the right US visa strategy, it can unlock pathways that most people don't even know exist. This is exactly the kind of dual strategy work we do at Global Freedom Capital. Before I move on, I have to mention one more thing because it's the option that most people completely overlook. If you have European roots, Irish grandparents, Italian heritage, Romanian origins, Polish ancestry, you may already have a legal claim to a European passport, citizenship by descent. No investment required, just the right documentation and the right guidance. Americans seeking Irish citizenship through ancestry jumped 63% last year. And after Canada removed generational limits on dual citizenship claims, Americans have been applying in record-breaking numbers. My firm always advises clients to explore this option first, because if it's available to you, it's almost always the fastest and most cost-effective route. So if you have roots outside the United States, do not sleep on this. Now, I want to zoom out for a moment. Because what Forbes reported today isn't just about passports and investment thresholds. It's about something much bigger. For the first time since the Great Depression, more people left the United States in 2025 than moved there. That is a historic milestone. People on all sides of the political spectrum are anxious. They're uncertain. They're looking at the next decade and asking, what if things get worse before they get better? And the answer that wealthy, informed, globally minded people are arriving at is don't wait to find out. Build your options now. While you still can, a second passport is not about abandoning your country. I want to be very clear about that. It's about having the freedom to choose, the freedom to stay or go on your terms. Not because a government forced your hand, not because a crisis left you scrambling, but because you had the foresight to plan. That's what freedom actually looks like. And that's what we help build every single day at Global Freedom Capital. So here's what I want you to take away from today. The world's smartest, wealthiest people are not sitting on one passport anymore. That era is over. The programs that used to be accessible are getting more expensive and more restricted. The window is narrowing, and the demand, especially from Americans, has never been higher. If you are a high net worth individual, an entrepreneur, a family office, or a professional who has been thinking about this, now is the time to have the conversation. Not next year, not when things settle down, now. Because things don't settle down, they evolve. And the people who win are the ones who move before everyone else does. I've helped thousands of families across dozens of countries build their global freedom strategy. I know what works, what's changed, and where the opportunities are right now. If you want to find out what your options look like for your specific passport, your assets, your goals, your family, reach out to me directly. The link to schedule a consultation is right below this video. And if you're not ready for that yet, that's okay. Subscribe, follow along. Because I promise you, this conversation is only going to get more important. I'm Tatiana Muntean. This is Global Freedom Capital, and your freedom strategy starts here.